Speaking of lame, we actually do have a Hall of Lame geared for y'all this episode.
Oh, all right. This week is only one. Last week we did 3 to get you guys familiar with the segment, but
or does people decide to act right this week? You know, people had some sense.
There were some others I could have done, but this one I felt like was it tied into our Odell Beckham
OBJ.
Jr.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Our OBJ Hall of Fame induction. This week's going to Celina Powell. For those of you who don't know who she is, good. And I'm sorry that I'm exposing you to this, but I think this is more for like a learning experience for women. But Celina Powell is a well-known IG thought, basically, who has slept around with multiple rappers and lied about sleeping with multiple rappers. And that's kind of her claim to fame. Recently, she got into this whole big thing with Adam 22 and No Jumper because she had a podcast with her and her friend where basically they did what Superhead got a book deal to do, which is snitch on rappers and other famous people for having sex with them. Whoa. And she lost her podcast after 4 episodes. And basically she got upset because Adam canceled their podcast because they were pretty much exposing black men and putting them in a negative light. I mean, when you tell this story about Odell Beckham Jr. liking to get shitted on during sex, like, yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I would assume he would not have wanted that to be public knowledge. Maybe that's just me. You know, he could just be a very share-heavy type of person. You know, he's maybe he wanted the world to know, but
I feel like he would have said something about it by now.
He left it off.
I haven't been keeping up with that situation, but maybe if he had said something about it afterwards and was like, "Yeah, this is my shit," literally.
No, it's funny that you said that because in an interview, somebody asked him about it. He's like, "Yeah, there's a lot of people are talking a lot of shit about you. How do you?" He's like, "Yeah, literally talking a lot of shit." He says it ain't true. Listen, whatever you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, that's on you, bro. I'm good. I don't even like. I'm good. But
I just didn't need to know. That's all I'm saying.
The reason why she's getting the Hall of Fame is because she's made a career out of exploiting people, and then, when she gets exploited, she's the victim. She did 4 episodes of this podcast in which, after Adam realized what was happening, he kind of canceled the podcast, and then she got paid $500 to do some porn for his OnlyFans, where she claimed she was drunk and signed the contract. I'm like, you are too smart, at least I'd hope, to sign a contract of something you don't want to do for way less money than you want under the influence.
Yeah.
And then she says in one breath, mind you, I lost so many brain cells listening to
I'm losing brain cells as we speak. I'm trying to keep track, but it's just
this is an important lesson, especially to women. But she, in one breath, she's like, "Oh, I did it because I didn't want to lose, the podcast." And then in the next breath, she says she's a millionaire off OnlyFans and she didn't need no jumper. Well, if you didn't need no jumper, then you definitely didn't need to sign a contract for $500 to do porn on OnlyFans. Here's the thing, right?
Where do you
if
start
you are
with that?
on OnlyFans, which like in this day and age, I wouldn't be surprised. And you didn't need no jumper. There's something called Anchor. Anchor is perfectly free. We use it. And that's
no ad.
That's where we upload our podcast. In fact, Anchor's free. Anchor.fm.
They ain't paying us for this. We just have
all you need is that. If you're a millionaire, you very easily, because apparently you did this whole rant from inside of a penthouse that you own. I'm like, you can very easily set up your own stuff. I'm like, Joe Budden's been on about ownership this whole time, and you over here doing porn on OnlyFans to save this podcast you can do on your own.
I mean, maybe she just really wants to do porn on OnlyFans, and that's her prerogative, I guess. Do you? But if you're spinning a narrative for the sake of I don't know for what, then just be real.
Yeah, the sad part of it is just like the sad part of it is she's caught into the middle between like DJ Academics and Adam 22, which is just some stupid shit altogether. But you know, like she's being used on both sides, and she doesn't care because she values attention more than anything. So I'm like, these people are like, Adam used you for the most views he's gotten in a long time. Academics uses you for for mad views and stuff too. When it's like, yo, if you're getting all this attention and all this money on OnlyFans, you got to do for yourself. But some people just value attention more than anything else.
Yeah.
If you're out there, please read contracts. Don't sign anything intoxicated. Don't do porn for $500. And by all means, do not let yourself be a pawn in beef between two grown-ass men.
That is...
Listen.
Damn, if that's a lesson of the day.
Your whole career has been basically off of exploiting, like basically telling your sexual exploits between men, and then when you finally get exploited for $500,
and that was the only thing the podcast
was
going to be about. Was that really going to be the only thing the podcast was going to be about?
What the fuck else does she have to talk about?
I don't know. Like the polar ice caps melted. I don't know. Like shit.
Global warming.
If you ever accidentally heard this person talk, you would understand that there's nothing else for her to talk about. I would, if you haven't, I would challenge you not to.
I'm not trying. I don't judge people, judge a book by its cover, but going by what you told me, I'm kind of, I kind of want to play to hear.
Nah, you don't.
But
listen,
you are giving me a different. You're telling me otherwise.
I'm giving you the very surface of it because honestly, I realized that I'm like, yo, my IQ is plummeting watching this shit.
There's too many brain cells lost. Too many brave soldiers.
But I get bored during work and I just start clicking YouTube videos and I'm like, oh, all right, well, here's a nice 3-hour video that I realized like, yo, my fucking brain.
The
YouTube algorithm be doing some weird things, man. Like
real talk.
It's giving me some like, I don't even know what it's trying to give me anymore. Like it gave me some. One of the headline things was in a different language, and I was like, I don't even know what this is supposed to be about. And like I hover over it to like see what the previews are, and it's just all different stuff. I'm like, I don't know what this is. YouTube don't know what you're trying to tell me. What do I like? I don't know what this is. It's weird.
Honestly, I think I'm going back to clicking these like 24/7 jazz music channels when I'm bored because I can't fucking do this anymore.
Wait, you guys don't like being suggested videos that are like 10 years old? These random YouTube videos from like 8-10 years ago that are like 30 seconds long. It's like a random, sometimes it'll be like a random Vine or something like that.
Yeah.
From like way back when. And I'm like, thanks, YouTube.
When Vine was relevant, it was like, excuse me? Like what?
This is exactly why I wanted to watch. How did you know? YouTube, how did you know?
Went right into my brain cells specifically and found this in the depths of my subconscious. You nailed it.
I know.
Yeah. But that's your Hall of Lame, everybody. Careful what you put out into the world. You might just get it back. And yeah, man. Keep that shit private.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
What else we got?
Oh man. Well, what else we got? Well, I mean, PS5 showcase, man. Might as well just jump right into it. Going right into the gaming. Since there was a lot of announcements we got recently and just